Looking to ace your UI UX interview? Then you are at the right place. We have compiled a list of some of the most important UI UX design questions, and we have provided a detailed answers to help you feel confident and prepared. Whether you are a seasoned developer or just starting up, these question and answers will give you a solid foundation for acing your next UI UX design interview. So let's get started. Hey everyone, I welcome you all to this session on UI UX interview question and answers. In this session, we will dive deeper into some of the basics, intermediate and advanced interview questions. So let us not waste much of time and let us dive into the agenda. Firstly, we will look into a beginner level UI UX design interview questions. Then we will look into the intermediate level UI UX design interview questions. And finally, we'll end the session with some of the advanced level UI UX interview questions. So with this interview questions, you will have a solid understanding of what kind of question you will get in the next interview. So we will begin with the beginner level UI UX interview questions, starting from what is the difference between UI and UX design? Right. Basically, you need to understand what UI and UX are. UI is an user interface and your UX is your user experience. So these designs are two distinct but interconnected disciplines in the field of digital product designs. So UI designs primarily deals with the visual and the interactive aspects of the product, encompassing the aesthetic, layouts, and presentation of the elements such as buttons, icons, typographies, and colors, etc. And the goal of UI design is to create visually appealing and intuitive interface that align with the brand's identity. Whereas in the other hand, your UX designs almost focuses on the holistic experiences and satisfactions that the user have while the interacting with the product. It involves in-depth research, analysis, and understanding of your user needs and behavior. UX designers crafts the user journey by creating the information architecture, designing the intuitive workflow, and they ensure the seamless and enjoyable interactions. Their objective is to provide meaningful, user-centered experiences that fulfills the user goals and the experience. So if I want to summarize this question, you could tell while UI designs primarily focuses on the visual aspects, whereas your UX design compasses a broader scope including the usability, accessibility, and the overall user satisfaction. Both disciplines work hand in hand to create cohesive, engaging, and user friendly digital experiences. So, I hope you understood the difference between UI and the UX design. So, let us move on to the next question. What tool do you use for UI and UX designs? So, this is a most commonly asked question for the beginner level. So, there are several tools available for UI and UX designs. And the choice of tools often depend on the personal preferences, project requirements, and the team collaboration needs. So let me give you some of the examples. For example, I'll give you the Sketch or Adobe XD, Figma, InVision. There are many more. For example, if you want to tell about Sketch, it is a vector-based design tool for creating the user interfaces and interactive prototypes. It is widely used by UI designers, whereas Adobe XD is a comprehensive design and prototyping tool by Adobe that enables the designers to create user interface and interactive experiences. Figma is also one kind of similar to the Adobe XD. It is a collaborative design tool that allows the real-time collaboration, prototyping, and design handoffs. So there are many such tools to use, so you can use according to your requirements and workflows. So let us see the next question. What is a wireframe? A wireframe is a visual representation or a blueprint of a web page or an app or a user interface that outlines the structure, layout, and the functionality of the design. So, it is a simplified and low fidelity representation or typically devoted of colors, images, and detailed visuals, focusing on the arrangement of the elements like the content hierarchy and the user flows. Wireframe serves as a communication tool between the designers, developers, and the stakeholders to visualize the skeletal framework of the digital products before the final design and development stage. Now, let us see the next question. What is a prototype? Basically, prototype is a tangible representation or a working model of a product or the design concept. It is created to demonstrate and test the functionality, interactions, and overall user experiences of a digital product before it is fully developed. Prototypes can be range from low fidelity sketches or the wireframes to high fidelity interactive simulations or depending on the stages of the design process and the specific goal of the prototype too. Now, prototyping it allows the developers to validate and iterate on their idea and then gather the feedback from the stakeholders and the users and they make the informed design decisions. By stimulating the user's interaction and the flow, prototypes provides a hands-on experiences that helps the identity potentials, usability issues, uncover design flaws, and refine the product's features and the functionalities. I hope you understood what is prototype. Now let us see what is a user persona. A user persona is a frictional representation of the user group. It is based on the research and the data gathered about the user of a product. User persona includes the information such as the demographic data, behaviors, needs, and the goals. They are used to guide the design process and ensure that the product is tailored to the need of its user. User persona also helps the designers to empathize with the user and create a product that meets their needs. Now let us see what is the purpose of a user flow. So this is a most important question that a UI or UX designer may face. The purpose of a user flow is to outline the sequential steps and interactions that a user will take within a digital product or an application to accomplish a specific task or a goal. It visually depicts the path a user follows from their entry point to the successful completion of their objective. User flows provides a comprehensive overview of the user journey, highlighting the key touch points, decision points, and possible routes that they can make. By mapping out the user flow, designers can identify the potential pain points, optimize the user experiences, and ensures a smooth and intuitive navigation through the product. Ultimately, it enhances the usability and increases the user satisfaction. I hope you understood. Now, let us move on to the next question. What is a design system? Basically, design system is a comprehensive set of rules, patterns, components, and guidelines that govern the design and the development of a product or a brand. It serves as a centralized resource to ensure consistency, efficiency, and scalability in the creation of the user interface and experiences. Our design system provides a shared language and visual framework, enabling the team to work collaboratively and maintain the design coherences. And also, it encompasses the design principles, typography, color palettes, UI components, style guides, and best practices, empowering the organizations to create cohesive, user centered products that align with their brand identity. And the next question that may come to you is what are some of the common design principles? So, some of the common design principles serve as a guiding principle that informs and shapes the creation of effective and user centered designs. If I want to pinpoint some of the principles, then it would be simplicity, consistency, accessibility, hierarchy, clarity, feedback, flexibility, and visual appeal. So if I want to tell about simplicity, it strives for simplicity in the design by removing the unnecessary complexity and focusing on the essential elements to enhance the clarity and ease of use. So when I mean consistency, it means it maintains the visual and the functional consistency throughout the design to establish familiarity, improve the usability, and create a cohesive user interface. Then it comes the accessibility. It ensures the designs are inclusive and accessible to users with the diverse ability for following the accessibility guidelines and providing the accessible features. Now, if you want to take a look at the hierarchy, the user visual cues such as the size, color, typography to establish a clear hierarchy of the information and the guide users attempts to improve the elements. Now, the clarity. It emphasizes the clear and the concise communication throughout the typography, visual hierarchy, and appropriate use of the white space to ensure the content is easily understood and navigated. Now, if you look at the feedback, it provides the visual and interactive feedback to user, such as the animations, hover effects, and progress indicators to acknowledge their actions and help them to understand the system responses. By applying these kind of design principles, designers can create intuitive, accessible, and visually appealing experiences that effectively communicate with users and meet their needs. Now we have another question. What is responsive design? Responsive design is an approach to web and app designs that aims to provide an optimal viewing and interaction experiences across a wide range of devices and screen sizes. It involves designing and developing a flexible layout and user interfaces that can adapt and respond to the user devices, whether it's a desktop computer or a tablet or a smartphone. Responsive designs use techniques such as the fluid grids, flexible images, and media queries to ensure that the content and the design elements automatically adjust to the rearrange based on the available screen space, providing a seamless and consistent experiences for the users regardless of their devices that they use. So we have a final question in our beginner level. For example, can you explain the design process? So, the design process typically involves several stages, including the research, ideation, prototyping, testing, and refinement. The process stage with understanding the user's needs and defining the problem, followed by brainstorming and sketching ideas. Then, prototypes are created and tested with the user, and the feedback is used to refine the design. Finally, the design is delivered and launched with ongoing testing and refinement as needed. Now, we will move on to the intermediate level interview questions. Starting with, what are some common design patterns? Design patterns are commonly used solutions to recurring design problems. So, some of the common design pattern includes MVC, your module view controller. This pattern is used to separate application data and the logic from the user interfaces. Then we have singleton. So it is a pattern that is used to ensure that the class has only one instance and provides a global point of access to it. Then we have factory, a pattern used to create objects without exposing the creation logic to the client and referring to the newly created objects using a common interface. Then we have the observer. This pattern is used to define a one-to-many dependencies between the objects so that when one object changes state, all its dependencies are notified and updated automatically. Then finally, we have strategy. This kind of pattern is used to define a family of algorithms, encapsulate each one, and make them interchangeable within the same family. So, next question is, what is the difference between low fidelity and high fidelity prototypes? So basically, a low fidelity prototype is a rough, basic, and abstract representation of the design that lacks details and fidelity. It is usually created with the low cost maintenance, and it is used to test and validate design concepts and ideas quickly. Whereas a high fidelity prototypes, on the other hand, is a highly detailed and refined representation of the designs that closely resembles the final product. It's usually created using high quality materials, and it is used to test and define the design's usability, functionality, and aesthetics. Then we have, what is design critic? A design critic is a process in which a group of designers, stakeholders, and other relevant individuals review and provide feedbacks on a design. So, the goal of a design critic is to evaluate the designer's effectiveness, identity, and its strengths and weaknesses, and suggest the improvement and the solution to any design problems. A design critic typically involves a structured discussions, with each participant sharing their perspective and providing the constructive feedback. Now, let us see, how do you conduct a user research. User research involves gathering of a data and insights about the user needs, goals, behaviors, and preferences to inform the design process. To conduct user research, you can follow some of the steps, namely, define your research objectives and questions. Then you need to identify your target users and recruit participants. After that, you need to choose your research method, for example, interviews, surveys, usability tests, etc. Then you need to develop your research materials. It also includes the same as interview questions, survey questions, and etc. Then you need to conduct your research and gather all the data. And you need to analyze and synthesize your data to identify the pattern and insights. And finally, you need to use findings to inform and improve the decisions. Now let us see, what is a design sprint. A design sprint is a structured, time-bounded process for solving the complex design problems and developing the innovative solutions. It involves a team of designers and the stakeholders working together intensively for a set of period, typically 5 days, to define the problem, ideate potential solution, prototype the best ideas, and test them with the user. The design sprint process is designed to facilitate the collaboration, creativity, and rapid experimentation, with the goal of producing validated solution quickly. Now let us see, what is the importance of usability testing. Usability testing is important because it helps the designers to understand how the user interact with the product and usability problems and pain points, and make them informed design decisions. Repeat, and make them informed design decisions that improve the user experiences. By conducting the usability test, designers can gain insights into users' behaviors, preferences, and their needs, and refine the design to better meet those needs. Now, let us see the difference between quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative research is focused on collecting and analyzing the numerical data, such as the survey responses or the website analytics, to make the statistical inference and test the hypothesis. Qualitative research, on the other hand, it focuses on collecting the non-numerical data, such as the observations or the interviews, to gain the insights into the user's behavior, motivation, and attitudes. Quantitative research is often used to test the hypothesis and generate the numerical data, while qualitative research is used to explore and understand the user experiences and perceptions. Now let us see one of the questions that is being asked in the intermediate level kind of questions. So can you explain the concept of information architecture? So in this kind of question, you can answer it like, information architecture is the practice of organizing and structuring the information in a way that makes it easy to find and use. So it basically involves creating a clear and intuitive navigation system. By organizing the content into categories and hierarchies and using the consistent and meaningful labels and terminologies. Information architecture is important because it helps the user find what they are looking for quickly and easily. And it helps them to understand the relationship between the different pieces of information. Now let us see what is design persona. A design persona is a fictional character that represents a particular user group or segment. It is created using a data and insights for user research, and it also used to help the designers to understand and empathize with the needs, goals, and the behavior of the user group. A user persona typically involves the demographic information as well as the information about the user's attitude, perceptions, and motivation. Now, what is the difference between UI and UX writing? UI writing refers to the text that appears on the user interface, such as the button labels, error message, and the interactional text. It focuses on creating the clear, concise, and user friendly text that helps the user to navigate the interactions and the completing the task. Whereas the UI, on the other hand, refers to the text that appears throughout the user journey, like your marketing copy, onboarding messages, and helping the content. So it focuses on creating a cohesive and engaging user experiences by using the language that aligns with the brand and it speaks to the user needs and the desires. Now let us see few of the advanced level interview questions. So, mostly asked advanced level interview questions is, how do you balance design aesthetic with usability? Balancing design aesthetic with usability is a crucial to create an effective and delightful user experiences. So, let me give you some of the strategies to achieve a balance. By creating user centered design and prioritize understanding the needs, goals, and the behavior of the target users. And you need to conduct the user research, gathering the feedback, and involve the user throughout the design process to ensure the usability remains on a top priority. Then we have the consistency. So, establishing the consistent design patterns, visual elements, and interactions throughout your interface. So, this provides a sense of familiarity to users, making the decisions more intuitive and easier to use. Then we have the clear hierarchy. Ensure a clear hierarchy in your design by organizing the content and the element based on the importance. So, utilize visual uses such as the size, color, and the typography to guide the user attention and make it easier for them to navigate and understand the interface. And you need to make a point of minimalism. Embrace the principle of less is more. By eliminating unnecessary elements and clutters, focusing on essential importance and functionality, creating a clean and uncluttered designs that ensures the usability. Then we have the visual feedback. Provide immediate and meaningful visual feedback to the user actions. Use animations, transitions, and micro interactions to communicate changes, state, and the system responses. This not only adds the aesthetic appeals but also enhances the usability by keeping user informed and engagement. Remember, aesthetic and the usability are not mutually exclusive. By understanding your user needs and their preferences, maintaining the consistency, and integrating based on the feedback, you can create a visually appealing design that is also highly usable and enjoyable for your target audience. And the next question, how do you approach designing for accessibility? Designing for accessibility is essential to ensure that the people with disabilities can access and use the digital products and services. First, you need to educate yourself, gain an understanding of the accessibility guidelines and best practices, such as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Familiarize yourself with the various disabilities, their impact on the interactions, and an assistive technology commonly used. Then, involved people with disabilities. You need to include people with disabilities in your design process, seeking their insights, feedbacks, and involvement in the usability testing to gain the first hand perspective on the accessibility barriers and the possible solutions. Focus on keyboard accessibility. Ensure that all the interactive elements can be easily accessed and operated using a keyboard alone. Designed for logical tab order, highlight focused elements and provide clear focus indicator to improve the keyboard navigations. Then you need to test the accessibility. Conduct regular accessibility tests to identify and address any barriers in your design. Use automated testing tools, manual testing, and involve user with the disability in using the testing to uncover the potential issues. By adding the accessibility from the beginning of the design process and involving the user with disabilities, you can create inclusive experiences that accommodate a diverse range of users and ensure equal access to your digital products and services. Now let us see what is the role of psychology in UX design. The role of psychology in UX design is to understand how the user think, feel and behave and to use the information to design the products that are intuitive, engaging and meet the user needs and goals. UX designers often use principles from psychology such as cognitive load theory and human computer interactions to create designs that are easy to use and visually appealing. They also conduct user research to gain insights into user behavior, attitude, and motivations, and the users that the information to inform their design decisions. Now, what is the difference between micro interactions and animations? Basically, micro interactions are small, focused on the interactions that happens within a large interface, such as clicking a button or filling out a form field. They are typically short in duration and provide immediate feedback to the user. Animations, on the other hand, these are the large scale movements or the transitions that occur in response to the user input or as a part of the overall interface designs. They are often used to create a sense of delight and engagement of the user. Now, let us see the final question in our advanced level. So, what is the importance of emotional design? The importance of emotional design is that it creates a connection between the user and the product, which can lead to increased engagement, satisfaction, and loyalty. Emotional design uses the design elements such as the color, typography, and imagery to create an emotional responses in the user, whether it is an excitement, trust, or the calmness. By designing for emotions, UX designers can create the products that resonate with the user or the deeper level. So, this brings us to the end of this session on UI UX interview questions. We have a lot more videos on this topic, so make sure you get all the updates by clicking on the bell icon. So, I hope you have a good understanding and how the questions will be in your next interview after watching this video. So, if you have any queries regarding this, you can comment down below. And if you want to get certified in UI UX design, then we have a certification link that is given in the description box. So let's see you in the next video. Until then, happy learning.